Oh, where do you think they went? I don't know. Let me have a look over here. Beep. Hey guys, Rob from Epic Dungeon Tiles. Sorry about the audio. I'll try and fix that as much as possible. But yeah, today we are going to look at making this cool little rock kind of scatter terrain. There's something a little bit extra about it. Don't know if you can spot it. There's that cool little torch on the side. Hopefully I can't see it, but there's effectively a little hidden stone. So you push the stone, then the torch turns on. So that little stone in the middle, you can just push. And there it is. You probably want to make a few of these without the switches, so that it's not just kind of one of them completely on their own, because it's like, oh, why is that there? So yeah, and then, you know, little hidden thing. My players love hidden things like that, so they'll love that. And yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this insulation foam, and I'm going to cut up some different sized blocks. The main reason I use different sizes is because it hides the secret block quite well, and then I position kind of the blocks sort of further back and stuff to make it just look like a really rough dungeon wall. If it's really flat, it's a lot harder to make it look secret. So I just go in with like a big kitchen knife to begin with, just to basically cut them open, and then I slice them down with a X-Acto knife. The next thing I do is I file all the edges just to make them sort of smooth, make them look more like blocks. And then here I'm just gluing them all together. You can see what I mean by different sizes. They just help make it feel like a dungeon wall that might fall down at any second, but yeah, it really helps, especially if you do bigger ones and then a lot thinner ones. It helps a lot to hide the block for the switch. So I'll just finish this off. Effectively, I just leave a hole in the middle, and you'll see that in a minute, and then I fill like a bridge over the top of that hole of bricks. Okay, so there's the sort of initial structure, and you can see that hole that I'm leaving in the middle, and then I'm going to build over it whilst leaving that. And here it is. Here's the sort of blocks done, and you can see that block in the middle I haven't glued down, and it's just free moving. And if you like, you could finish it here and just have that as a block that the adventurers can push. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hook up a torch on the side just to add something a little bit fancier to it. I'm going to use one of these tea lights. So effectively all I've done is I've wired up this tea light to extend the LED and the switch, and then I've cut around all of the casing for the battery just to trim it up. The only thing you have to be careful of is if you trim it up too much, you'll struggle to actually be able to slide the plastic out to replace the batteries. And I've just used bits of shrink wrap around the ends. Cool, still working. That's a good sign. So effectively we just need to get these into place now. The battery casing is going to sit underneath in the cardboard. The switch is going to sit right underneath the block, so we're going to have to carve a little bit out of the block. And then the torch will come out the side of the wall. So I've carved this section out. To the left is going to be the battery, and then to the right is going to be the switch. So the switch will sit up through, and then up above the battery casing is where I'm going to bore the hole, or drill the hole to feed the torch into. That was a little bit annoying trying to get the torch in there, but in hindsight, if I sort of was going to do this again, I'd probably do this as I built the blocks up, so I didn't have to work my way through them. So you could just do one block, feed the torch through one block, and that would be a lot easier. Okay, so I've got everything in position. I've effectively got the switch in there without the block, and then I've got the LED and the little battery casing underneath. So that's the hardest bit done. And yeah, Still working. Just keep checking the LED as you go along, because that can be a little bit annoying if you get to this stage and connections come loose. So effectively, I missed the footage of what I did on this, but I put 3 cocktail sticks through that central brick, and then I cut the brick in half, pulled it out, and then cut a little channel in it to fit the switch in. And then when I went to glue it back in, I could just feed those cocktail sticks back into the sort of registration marks that were made from them. So I actually cut it in half and then fit them around the switch. Again, if you did this as you built it up, it would be a lot easier because you wouldn't need to do that. You could just sit it on top. Okay, the next bit is to build up this torch so it doesn't just look like an LED hanging out the side. I'm going to use a little bit of barbecue skewer and some wire. This makes a really nice torch. I really like this. And then effectively all I'm going to do at the end is cut a circle to sit on top of it. So you can see the kind of thing I'm going for here. I'll cut them flush once I come to glue them on. I just used a bit of super glue to get those wires on, but once we sort of paint some PVA on it and stuff, that should be fine. So yeah, I'm just cutting a little disc for the flame to sit on top of. Yeah, it's a little bit fiddly, but it does looks pretty good, I think, in the end. Oh yeah, still struggling with that little cardboard disc. Okay, so I hot glue that onto the top of the other piece that we've already got, and then I trim the wire flush with just some little craft nippers. Okay, and then I've glued the torch on and painted it brown before I fill up the LED with hot glue, because the hot glue will be slightly see-through, so potentially you'll just see cardboard. And I did skip ahead a bit here because I've got a really bad angle at the moment where I'm filming from, and I keep missing stuff. But effectively I hot glued on top of that little disc to make the flame, then I painted the flame with a little bit of red and yellow, and as long as you don't paint it too dark, it'll work out nice. And then we paint the whole thing black, and then paint the whole thing pretty much sort of 80%, 90% coverage with a dark grey. Wait for that to dry, and then go in with a light grey just to bring out that rocky texture. And then I really like this marsh blend for anything that's going to be in a dungeon. I use it on the dungeon tiles as well. So I just add a bit of marsh blend flock. And there it is with the light on. Really pleased with how it turned out, and yeah, might make a couple more of them in the future. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. A couple of things I'm going to be going through is I've got a new airbrush, so I'm going to be trying that out, and I've been basically printing out absolutely loads of the Epic Dungeon tiles, because we are going to hopefully go to UK Games Expo. We've got a stand, so we are going, but you know, things happen, but we're planning everything's going, and we're going to have stacks of dungeon tiles as kind of packages you can buy, so you'll be able to purchase a dungeon set, small, medium, large sort of thing. All the details aren't quite fine-tuned yet, but yeah, effectively I've got absolutely tons printed out, so yeah, it should be pretty exciting. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave comments below on any future builds you'd like to see me make. See you again in the next video.